The distribution part of our studio, located right off the control room, is kind of like master control in a television station. In other words, it's the place where the signal basically is sent out to wherever you're going to send it. If it was over the air at a television station, you send it out to your tower, and from there on. Here we send it, of course, through a cable to all the classrooms on campus. This distribution area is divided into several major areas. If you start over here, you'll notice that we have what is called a router. And the router allows us to use a matrix, 16 by 16 matrix, to send particular videos or inputs to particular outputs, which we call channels. SJET has 8 channels. Right below this, we have the patch panel, and you really don't need to know a whole lot about a patch panel except that the top one here is a video patch panel, the bottom one is an audio patch panel. And the video patch panel, essentially on the top row, is the output signal, and you send it to another location on the bottom row of that one. The same thing happens on the audio panel. In this case, the only thing you'll need to check every morning is to make sure that the video patch is plugged into distribution out, going into VCR 1 in. I'll explain why that is later on. The same thing goes for audio. So as long as that's that way, you don't have to mess with it or touch it, do anything else. The next part of it, of our distribution area, the center monitor, which tells us what is on the router, or what is going out on every channel. If you notice there's 16 outs, and that shows you audio and video inputs into those outputs. If you look at the monitors, you'll see nothing but our announcements going out on all the channels at this moment. Below that here is something that you do have to know about, and we'll talk about in some detail, and that is the computer program that controls the router and controls not only individual inputs and outputs, but also creates groups of inputs and outputs that you're going to have to select when you work here in the morning. On the other side, in the last part of our distribution area, down below here, are the VCRs and DVDs that we use to send programming to the classroom during the day. Once again, you won't have to be doing this, but it is good to know that that's what it's for. What do we expect you to know about distribution? What do we expect you to be able to do? Essentially, every morning, there's a student back here who's responsible for sending our signal out to the rest of the school. It may not seem like the most important job, but in one sense it is the most important job, because no matter what we do in the studio, if you don't send the signal out, nobody sees it. So it's a very important job, and so you need to do it right. When you come in here in the morning, there are a couple of things you do right away. One of those is to go over here to the tapes that are located on this side and find a tape that's, let's say it's Monday, so we're going to find the tape that's got Monday written on it, because we record every one of our shows. You take that tape and you put it into VCR number 1. You put that tape in, you make sure that the machine is set on auxiliary channel. You go to the channel thing and look for the little AU, and you'll be ready to go to record that. Next, essentially, you would grab yourself a headset, which you'll learn more about when you get into the studio proper. But essentially, if you look at the headset, you'll see there's a place for a plug here. The plug for the headset for the person in distribution is located right here below the computer. It's just on a wire. You plug it in and you put your headset on, and you can talk to the director and hear his instructions. And when he tells you to punch us out, that's the signal, punch us out, then you select the program setting on the computer, and once you've punched us out, then you tell him we're punched out, and he's ready to start the show. As you see this picture right now, this is the way it should be in the morning when you come in. Mr. Land will have already set you up with output number 3, which basically sends the test board out on to all of our channels, and lets people look at the test board before the morning show begins. But actually what happens here too is that when it comes time to punch out the show, you will left click on number 1, which is the program output collection, if you will. You will then right click it, and be very careful about this. You want to left click when the director says punch us out, left click recall this location. Do not left click store to this location, because if you do that, then whatever is currently going out will override what you want to send out. And in other words, it will kind of mess us up. We'd have to go back and do it all manually before we could actually go out on the air. So you essentially want to recall this location and left click it, and that will change all of our channels to the output for the SJET studio production side. After you've punched the show out on the air, the first thing that you want to do is then go over to VCR 1 and to note the little button here that my finger's pointing to. It says REC/ITR. It's an immediate record button, and you punch that button like that, and the record light will come on the VCR, and you're now recording the show. After the show is over and the director has faded to black, and make sure he's faded to black before you do this, you will go back to the computer, and instead of number 1, you will reselect, left click number 3, and right click it, and then recall this location. That changes back to the test board or to the announcements themselves, which now will rotate over the various monitors around the school. After that, you're done. You just put away your headset and your job is over.